There is a universal question: who am I? Jesus says before he formed us in the womb, he knew us. We were in his care before we were born. But sadly, all of us have gone astray, turning each one her own way. My parents were singles. A 19-year-old single woman and a 20-year-old single man conceived me. I'm so thankful abortion was not legal. They understood pregnant is to be with child. They married. Going my own way 20 years later, as a single 20-year-old college student, I was pregnant. Neither I nor the dad of the child considered abortion. I'm so thankful abortion was not legal. We knew pregnant is to be with child. We married and conceived 5 more children. When my husband listened to the lie of the abortion industry in January 1973, I was expecting our 6th child. He believed the lie, it's not a child yet. I was codependent and thought it must be okay. It has been legalized by the Supreme Court's ruling in Roe v. Wade. At Planned Parenthood, I was given no information on pregnancy, no information on abortion, the procedure, the risks, the consequences. In the waiting room were 3 other women. I could hear the conversation. One, this is our 3rd child and we only want 2. Another, it is our 2nd child, too soon. The 3rd woman was younger and the only one crying. On the abortionist table, I failed to remember that I had been in this position 5 times previously as I birthed my children. I also failed to realize that the dangerous abortion procedure was damaging my uterus and would result in a hysterectomy shortly afterwards, later producing estrogen deprivation and depression. As I returned to the car, my husband asked, "How do you feel?" Feel? Nothing. I was in denial, but I was angry that he asked. The abortion procedure destroyed our parent-child relationship and nearly destroyed our marriage due to the guilt, grief, shame, and the blaming. Few marriages survive. A woman was brought to Jesus who was to be stoned for adultery. He told her accusers, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." No one. A couple weeks after the abortion, I was handing a vitamin to my 3-year-old at the table. It rolled across the table. She reached and fell off her chair. As I watched her fall, I thought I would deserve it if she broke her neck. I'm so thankful she only broke her collarbone. That evening I called my sister and told her of my abortion and the incident with my daughter. She said, "God has forgiven you," but there was a problem. I had not yet received God's forgiveness. It was a year and 8 months later that a relative called to say, "I found God to be reality, and it is God that has made a way, for it is man that has made a mess of this world." I knew that I had messed up, but reality, I didn't. He suggested that I take the 4 children and go to a church that had an evening service. That evening as I sat down, the man who stood said, Tonight I'm going to talk about doing God's will. To do God's will, you must want His will to be your will instead of trying to make your will, your way, God's. I felt the presence of God surround me. Oh God, what a miserable wretch I am. I've been trying to run my own life and I'm going in circles. You know I believe in you and in your Son, that He died and rose from the dead. I could not speak another word, for it was as if the roof came down, a crushing weight. With the weight I knew, oh God, I have murdered. The weight was lifted and replaced with peace that was greater. And I knew that God was no longer far away. I belonged to Him. Previously, I'd only been existing. Now I belong to God.